Posted an NCAA video since like January 14th. It's been a long time. It's only been 5 days, but we're back. We do understand that like most of our followers are NCAA fans, so we really want to drop some content for you guys. We dropped a wide receiver rankings video. Be sure to check that out, guys. I mean, it's as interesting as it gets. We dropped our re-rankings for the quarterbacks. You can find that on the channel. And make sure you guys check out those problem win series. What'd you say?
Same video. It's the wide receiver one. Quarterback rankings.
Yeah, it's in the same video, but I uploaded the re-rankings as like its own video.
Oh, okay.
So it's like 2 videos. And make sure you guys are checking out those problem with series, man. We've got 3 episodes out. Episode 4 will be coming out in the next 2 days. Check those out, man. Those are interesting. We got Auburn on there for the college football fans. We've got an NFL one for the Raiders, and we just did our first basketball one with the Houston Rockets, narrated by the one and only JT, who obviously isn't here today.
We got for some of y'all baseball fans. We got one coming.
We got some baseball fans coming.
You said the next 2 days is coming?
Next 2 days, yeah.
We
gave hints. We gave hints on the last episode.
Wait, what was the hints that we gave?
You said something like they always get far, but they just can't win it.
I'll give one more hint. Let's see.
I feel like if we say the conference, it's too easy.
They hit home runs nonstop.
They hit dingers.
That's their favorite thing to do.
I feel like that should be enough. We can't say the conference because I feel like that'll be too much.
Yeah. So we'll let y'all sit with that.
Yeah, we'll let y'all know. Next 2 days, man, a new problem with episode 4 will be dropping, which all videos have done numbers so far. So that's exciting. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. But let's get into today's topics. We got some crazy stuff to go around because Cameron is famous now. I don't know if y'all know, but I'm in the presence of greatness because he got posted on Elite College Football's Instagram today with a Tennessee skit or gag. Tennessee got caught paying players through McDonald's bags. through McDonald's bags. They're apparently paying recruits. I don't even know where to go from that.
I mean, Jeremy Pruitt got fired.
He did get fired. It's crazy because I remember they dropped the news and they were like, Tennessee's facing some violations, and then out of nowhere, Pruitt was fired. I was like, well, why would they fire Pruitt? Because I feel like he was doing some decent stuff for Tennessee. It wasn't enough, obviously, but I feel like he was doing some decent stuff. He's a good
coach. He was just stupid.
Yeah, it was stupid. And
he's in the exact same boat as the coach that the Tennessee fans want. He's in the exact same boat as him. It's Hugh Freeze. Tennessee fans want Hugh Freeze. And if you rewind the tape, Hugh Freeze was doing recruiting violations at Ole Miss when they were good. So, I mean, they want Hugh Freeze, but I don't know what Tennessee fans been drinking, because obviously they drink and they sat up there. They can't win games. But, I mean, hey, who knows?
And that brings me to that point where, like, obviously, I remember Georgia also was facing some violations, but I think it was already announced it was because they contacted a recruit when they weren't supposed to. And then I saw a comment today. Someone was like, man, don't be tripping if you don't think all the top colleges pay their players. And I'm like, they don't. they simply don't. I just don't understand. It's like a conspiracy. And I know some people might comment on this video and be like, dude, you can't be serious if you don't think they really don't. If people were paying the players, you would know. Look how quickly they figured out Tennessee was doing it.
If you think Bama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, USC, Oregon, if you think they're paying players, you're a casual football fan. I'm just gonna say it right there, because you can't tell me that this player, a 5-star player, is going to choose Iowa State over Bama when he's like almost guaranteed a title at Bama, guaranteed recognition from the NFL at Bama, guaranteed watch hours on TV at Bama. Whereas if you would go to
playing
Iowa
under the GOAT, guaranteed playing under the GOAT, Nick Saban. It's not all about tough.
Money. It's about coaches. It's about winning games. It's about getting recognition from NFL scouts. And that's really all it is, recognition from scouts. Their main goal is to get to the NFL. I guarantee you that half those guys that are not really getting noticed, they care less about a title. They just want to get recognized by the NFL. But I mean, guys like Devonta Smith, obviously they want the title too.
There's a lot of factors. I feel like a lot of people don't look at when they say that. Like when they say, every school's paying players. I'm like, well, what players do you think are being paid? Like, let's look at their whole recruiting process. Let's see what they're saying, because they're not making it up. You can clearly tell that. Georgia got a commitment from Brock Vandagriff. You gonna tell me we paid him? He clearly announced why he wanted to play for Georgia. It also doesn't help that what's his name? Caleb just committed to Oklahoma. So
Caleb Williams.
Is that his last name? Caleb Williams? Yeah, the next Russell Wilson. 3 interceptions in the playoffs. Come on now. He wasn't cooking. He wasn't cooking against LA. But I don't know, man. It's like I got into like this kind of like, it wasn't like an argument, but it was just kind of this thing with this guy, and he was like, he had like 100 followers, and he was like, trust me, Dimitri. He was like, you should ask Kelly Ringo why he's in Georgia, and he put like a winky face, and I was like, what? He was like, I was like, bro, what are you talking about? I was like, man, come on. He's like, man, trust me, I know something you don't know. And he posted the winky face again. I was like, bro, what are you talking about, man?
This was my next point, really. A lot of the casual fans who we're really talking about here, they think that players will just go to their dream school. Keely Ringo, he's from Arizona. You would think that his favorite school growing up was probably Arizona State, Arizona. We'll just say one of those teams, right?
Nevada.
He was from Nevada. I could have sworn he was from Arizona.
Skip. Let's just keep moving on.
Anyways, I think he's from Arizona. Anyways, so you could say that one of those schools are his favorite school, right? And he, you can't tell me that he gonna pick Arizona or Arizona State over a top tier program like Georgia. I mean, me being a Georgia fan, growing up, if I got an offer from Georgia, obviously I'd accept it because they're a top tier program. There's no reason why I wouldn't go to that school. But me growing up, if my favorite school was like, let's say like one of the bottom feeders, UTSA. You can't tell me if I'm growing up in Texas, UTSA is my favorite school, and I get an offer from the Texas Longhorns. You can't tell me I'm not going to go there. You can't tell me I'm not. No money involved. It's more of just they have better coaches. They get recognition. They are ranked in the top 25. You have a better chance of making it to the NFL if you go to these top tier programs. And I think that's what people overlook in this process.
Yeah, and to be honest, like the whole Tennessee thing, like obviously it's like hilarious or not, but it did say it's reported. So I'm not like 100% on the whole fact that this happened. Obviously, it's a funny situation if it's true, but it does say reported. So
I think it's true
for now.
Because
I'm 80% sure it's true.
They fired Jeremy Pruitt, and their athletic director retired.
That is true. That's true.
So it has to be true.
Yeah, I'm like 80-90% believing it. There's 10% of me though that I'm like, let's just wait.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
you always want to wait for the truth, but I mean, it's looking.
Obviously they were doing something very bad.
Yeah, like, they had to be doing something.
And that brings me to my next point. Like, you see how quickly they figured out that they were doing this, and like people have been saying that Georgia's been paying players, Bama's been paying players, Ohio State's been paying. Ohio State did get caught like 6 years ago.
Yeah, it was whenever
they did get caught.
It was like Urban Meyer's first couple of years, I think, something like that. Something like that. It was like right before he got there or something.
They say Clemson. Dude, wasn't Corey Foreman like committed to USC for a while? And then he decommitted? Come on, dude. I think he just signed with Clemson.
Corey Foreman? I could have sworn he just went to USC.
He decommitted from somewhere, I thought. And then, I think he is at USC, though. I don't think he was ever committed to Oregon. Maybe he was never committed.
I don't think he was ever committed. I think he was crystal ball to Georgia. There was a lot of talks about him because he went to a camp wearing a Georgia
I know it was
shirt,
between USC and Clemson. I know that for sure. But I'm like, so did USC pay him, or is he from California and wanted to stay close to home? Question mark? I guess we'll never know. Because I mean, who in their right mind is just going to USC? You're not winning anything at USC.
You're not getting exposure. They play at nighttime.
So why would he go to USC? Obviously, they paid him. That's what the casuals say, man. It's crazy. Teams that recruit good, like obviously recruiting for Alabama, recruiting for Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, it's easier when you look at the coaches. Bro, they're great recruiters.
Recruiting for Bama, Ohio State, and Clemson, man. It's like when Gucci Mane proposed, man. That's how they hold the scholarship. It's
like you just hold out the trophies. It's like, come on,
they hold out the trophies, the rings, and the scholarship. They're just like, come on, dog. We know you about to say yes. Come on, man.
And then they got the Heisman from this year to the showboat now. It's like, dude, it's crazy,
like,
man.
We got wide receivers winning Heisman's over here. Dude, we don't need to drop a bag.
You know how easy it's going to be for them to recruit, man? I'm telling you, bro. It's
You
just
would think LSU
and that
would
brings
be
and
easy
that
to
brings
recruit.
me to that actually brings me to the next topic. I got called a Karen today for the first time ever.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever been called a Karen? Like realistically? I got called a Karen today on Instagram because, you know, after they Sports Center posted the ESPN news and this guy commented and said, it should be allowed though, because it's hard out here. And I'm like, it is. It's very hard. But I'm like, but it's still illegal, bro. And then that's what I commented. I replied and said it's still illegal. And I got called a Karen, and like people were saying, they were like, I don't know. I was just getting clowned for it. And I'm like, let me tell you why I think it's a bad idea at this point that colleges should be able to pay players. Because Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, Clemson, the same teams that are top 5 every single year will continue to run college football. And it'll be even worse because they will get the top players in the nation. Corey Foreman would not be headed to USC right now.
Clemson came out of nowhere. I mean, they popped up on the scene like around 2013, 2014, really. That's when they started coming up. And now if we're talking if they're paying players, really, whenever I talk about paying players in college, I put NCAA into the factor of MLB. You know, how much money that team makes, they can spend on players. And, you know, teams like UAB, everyone was sad when UAB got canceled and the suspended operations. That would happen to a lot of teams. I think there's 136 teams out in this.
A lot.
More than 136. You can't tell me that none of these teams would go bankrupt trying to pay these players.
Trying to pay top players to go to their school. There's no way USC would have outbidded Bama, Georgia, Clemson. He'd be headed to Clemson right now. There's no way. USC doesn't have the money like that. Georgia spends the most money nationally on recruiting. So to be honest, like we're already getting recruit. Yeah, Texas. So it's like, dude, Texas will probably be dominating. Bro, it's like it's pointless. I don't think like right now. I just don't think. I think players should be able to make money off their likeness. I'll never say that they shouldn't be. I think it should have been. They should have been able to do that. But I think it's insane to think that colleges should be able to just literally pay players. Because when you think of it like that, you've also got to pay the swim team. You've also got to pay the tennis players. You got to pay the guys playing golf. You see what I'm saying? You got to pay all the student athletes. It's not just the football players.
I have a big like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. But I mean, I think about this subject a lot, and I think very highly of it. And it's more of the reason I don't think these players should be paid. And I know it's the main thing everybody say, but these players, most of them going to the top colleges in America, are getting free education to go out and do what they love doing.
And that's another comment I got. A lot of guys said, bro, they're not going to school to learn, so why shouldn't they be paid? I'm like, they're going to school to get an opportunity to get paid. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of. I just don't.
I mean, you give them these free scholarships, and it's basically, hey, we're giving you an option because your number one option is the NFL, but you have a free scholarship to create a. It's like you're not
going to be you don't need student loans.
You could do anything. You could do business management. You could do. I've seen some people do the stuff where you go to NASA. I've seen people go be doctors after the NFL. I mean, you can legit do anything with this scholarship if you just put your mind to it. That's why that's why every time you see on some of these like CBS and ESPN, they will show you the players that are good at academics, like Rodrigo Blankenship for Georgia. He was always noticed for that, and that's because he used his free scholarship to create a plan B for him.
It's because, and you notice like some players take like easy classes. Like you'll notice a lot of players are in the same classes because they're like
management or something.
Yeah, easy stuff. Because they're like, look, man, I want to come here for 3 years, go to the league. Look at George Pickens. Come on. He's playing college right now because he's trying to get to the league. It's simple. He'll be gone after 1 year. He's not staying. We've known that since his freshman year. After like one game, I was like, well, we got this guy for 3 years. What's next? But a lot of these guys, man, they're coming to college just to get to the NFL, and that. There's nothing wrong with that, but like while they're there, they should be able to make money off their likeness. Didn't California just sign a contract to where like all their colleges had to allow it?
California and Florida, I think they've done that.
So I'm like, that's already giving off like recruiting bonuses. That's probably why Corey Foreman's headed to USC.
That's my next point was with the likeness. I agree that players should be able to make money off their likeness. You know, that is their brand, that is their character. I feel like they should be able to sign endorsement deals, because what if their NFL doesn't work out? I mean, yeah, they have a plan B with a scholarship, but I mean, at least they're able to live off some money that they're getting from an endorsement. But I mean, the thing about likeness, I agree that they should be able to get likeness, like I said. But that is where it creates recruiting advantages, like paying players. Obviously, these players going to Ohio State, Bama, Clemson, they're going to get the better endorsement deals. They're going to get more money from the endorsement deals, as opposed to a player going to Florida Atlantic or a player going to BYU. They're not going to get these endorsement deals that these guys on the top 10, 15 teams are getting. And that's another recruiting advantage. But I mean, I do agree that they should be able to make money off their likeness. Like I seen an Oklahoma State player, he was working at Walmart when he got his scholarship to play basketball for them. I mean, these players should be able to make money off their likenesses. I mean, honestly, being a top player like Mac Jones, Joe Burrow, you know, they're popular. And, you know, sometimes I do wonder how they get money to survive. Obviously, it's probably from their parents. But, I mean, you know, you had this kid out here on a walk-on Oklahoma State working at Walmart. You know, if Joe Burrow was working at Walmart, I don't see that happen. You know what I'm saying? I don't see him working. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he was ever working. So, you know, it does bring up the question if they're making money from the college. But obviously they're not. It's probably from their parents. You know, it's 5 stars.
But you got to think, like I said, like a lot of them don't really have to work. Like getting your kid a car
like
and some gas is easy.
Nolan Smith.
You know what I'm saying? Nolan
prime
Smith.
example.
Nolan Smith.
Everybody said Georgia paid Nolan Smith. And he has a car from his parents, and he went to IMG Academy, which is a private school.
It's a private school. I'm like, a lot of these guys go to private schools. Like, dude, their parents are rich. Their parents have money, bro. It's like Johnny Manziel's parents.
To his parents. Moved to Bama. You know, it's like to just watch him play college.
It's really simple, man. But like, you got the casuals out there who's just gonna say like, oh yeah, because that word gets thrown around with Georgia a lot. It gets thrown around with Georgia a lot. Like, Georgia's paying players. Georgia's doing. No, they're not. They're just good recruiters. It's simple. Now, if Georgia got caught paying players, I eat everything I just said. Because obviously we don't know. But if it comes out, then we'll be like, well,
caught paying players, I'd be surprised. But then I'd be like, okay, but these casual fans been saying this for 4 years. I mean, obviously they weren't right at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, they weren't right 4 years ago that we were paying players. But I mean, look, whenever someone's team doesn't do good, they're gonna find something to say. And for college football, a lot of the fans just say they're paying players. It's just that simple. It's basically like how in NFL, how Tom Brady always has the refs on his team, or a lot of teams have the refs on their team. That is the equivalent of paying players in college. It's always brought up when a team's doing better. Always.
Sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes people do have a good habit of having them refs on their side. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man.
Any team against the Saints in the divisional round.
Facts. But this time it's quite crazy because it was really just Drew Brees. Like, Drew Brees just folded. If they start Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston this game, they win that game. It's like it's Drew Brees that folded. It's like he wanted to retire. Like, he was really tired of playing football, so he was just like, you know what, man, I'm done.
Bro, I don't even want to do this no more.
Like, I'm done, dude. Michael Thomas had no catches. Let's talk about Texas, man. Slant boy. Let's talk about Texas, man. You said you wanted to say something controversial before we started, so I just I don't know if you want to get straight into it, but
Steve Sarkisian was hired by the Texas Longhorns.
Okay.
This is not me bashing these coaches. This is not me saying these coaches are not going to be good in their careers. This is not me saying that they cannot coach at the college level or the NFL level or at any level. This is me saying that the school Texas has a bigger ego than they can handle. They are going out here saying that you can't do the horns down and then go out there and mock Drew Lock. You know what I'm saying? They just have too big of an ego. If your name is not Mac Brown and you're the coach of Texas, you're not going to succeed. Tell you that right now. You're not going to succeed. And obviously, you could be like, Nick Saban. Well, Nick Saban's not going to Texas. Dabo Swinney's not going to Texas. I'm talking about a normal coach like Tom Herman and Steve Sarkisian. If your name is not Mac Brown, you're not succeeding at Texas. That's all I wanted to say.
Because it's like we've seen Steve coach a team before, and then, you know, obviously it wasn't that great, but Texas, don't get me wrong. Texas fans are kind of like the equivalent of the Dallas Cowboys. It runs in the family, I guess. Like they're both from Texas.
They have big egos.
I think both teams have the same fans because it's like they every year they feel like they're gonna be like this team. I don't want to hate on Texas. I have no problems with Texas.
I have no problems with that.
I mean, we got some Oklahoma fans in here now.
The only person that I have smoked with that has ever went to Texas.
Oh yeah,
it's Sam Ellinger, man.
Yep.
That video that says "We're back." That is whenever I see that video, its rage just fills my mind.
Honestly, I didn't even like Texas after we lost that game.
That's the ego part. That's the ego part. Sam Ellinger being "We're back," and then what did they want after that? Exactly.
Good question.
Exactly.
Good question.
Tom Herman, I thought he was the answer. He's a great coach. You seen what he did at Houston. That man was beating Oklahoma. He was beating all the top teams. And then he goes to Texas and folds. Texas is not a coaching job that someone would want. I'm going to be honest. If I am offered Texas, let's say, if I'm offered Texas or Texas A&M, I'm taking Texas A&M. Not even just because it's in the SEC. Texas is a bigger school. Anyone would take Texas if they don't think about it, but I'm not taking Texas just because the ego there, the atmosphere there is just so okay. Look, the fans, I don't have no smoke with the fans, but they're kind of toxic. Anyways, I don't like Texas I'm not saying I don't like Texas program. I just think it's hard to succeed at this. It's sort of like the Michigan situation with John Harbaugh. It's going to be hard.
They re-signed him, dude.
Yeah, they re-signed him. I can't believe that.
That's absolutely pathetic. And that is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Sports wise, like that's as stupid as it gets. How do you resign? What's his record against Ohio State?
How many every years he coached?
And they thought it was good to give this man a 4-year, 5-year extension. Yeah. Ohio State's going stupid right now. Come on, dude. What were they thinking?
Look, Texas, it's just not an appealing job. It's just not. For me, it's not an appealing job. I wouldn't go there. If I was a coach, I wouldn't go there. Unless I'm going there for the money and to boost my brand, I guess, as a coach to get better offers, I'm not going to Texas. Unless this is NCAA 14, I'm not going to Texas.
I think that's what Steve Sarkisian's doing. I think he's not
just
going to stay at Bama.
His foot in the door for a head coaching job.
I don't think he's not going to stay at Bama just being offensive coordinator, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend. I feel like during his time at Bama, he has definitely gotten better as a coach.
Yeah.
Like, look at the stuff he's done with Bama's offense. Mm-hmm. Okay, we got the Tua situation. Like we've seen two possibly of the best Bama teams of this decade. You know what I'm saying? So it's like not this decade, but I can't say this decade because we just switched decades. But I'm gonna say we've seen two of the best Bama teams of this century since 1999. So actually since 2000 to now, we've seen two of the best Bama teams. Possibly two out of top 3 Bama teams of all time.
The other one's like 2013, man. That 2013.
Yeah, even though that Bama team lost to Clemson, I'm telling you, like that was a top 3 Bama team, bro. That team was dominant. I mean, I think Clemson just got the. It was Trevor Lawerence, man. It was the you know what I'm saying, sunshine. You know what I'm saying? The stuff's gonna happen, but like that Bama team was nearly unstoppable, bro. And I know Georgia nearly beat them, but like I'm telling you, before that game against Georgia, Bama just looked unstoppable that whole season. That's why when Georgia was winning at one point, I was like, well, that's great. Blew it again. But like the stuff that Steve Sarkisian brought to Alabama's offense just cannot be forgotten. So I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to say Texas doesn't have a chance to be decent at football. Because I think that obviously Texas will continue to be decent.
I mean, I think they're a 10-win team every season. Well, Texas, it's just I don't feel like it's a job where you can just go in there and you can be like, I'm making this team a playoff contender. I just don't think that's possible.
Oh no. That was
the
only
really,
playoff contender coming out of the Big 12.
That was really my main point there. I don't think that Texas can come out here and be a consistent playoff contender. That was my main point.
That's obvious. But like that's the same thing I thought with Georgia. We'll see. Let's just see what he does. Probably if anything, it'll be a second season. Every coach tends to, for some reason, it's always a second season. Coaches.
Can we add a topic? Can we add a topic to this? Coworker came up to me and he said, Kirby Smart's not the man for the job. He says he's a great coach. This job is just too big for him right now. And I sat back and I was like, on one hand, if you put Kirby Smart in the Pac-12, I feel like he could dominate. You know what I'm saying? But then I'm like, put him on Georgia where he's at, and I'm like, he's dominating regular seasons, but he's not finishing the job. You know what I'm saying?
It's a great topic because you know how I feel about Kirby Smart deep down.
Look.
I feel about Kirby Smart. I'm
gonna recite exactly what I said. I said, you can't tell me you can't put Kirby Smart on a Pac-12 team, a Big 12 team, or any of these Group of 5 teams, and he couldn't go in the regular season and go undefeated. I was like, you can't tell me he wouldn't. He's a good coach. He's a good recruiter. And I'm like, the only thing you can tell me about Kirby Smart is he cannot finish the job. That's the only thing that it's been proven and that it's been shown is he cannot finish the job. He's a great coach. He's a great recruiter. Love the guy. I love Kirby Smart. I love that dude. He's done great things for Georgia, but he cannot finish the job.
I agree. Kirby has definitely put us on a pedestal. But there's a lot of problems with Kirby Smart that I see and I'm just not proud of. Like this game against Cincinnati, there's no reason the team should have came out and played that sluggish. I know we have opt-outs, but what's with all that good recruiting? We've had 2 number 1 classes in the last 3 years. You just cannot convince me Cincinnati should have been able to keep up with us. There's no reason we should have won that game by 3 points.
It really was honestly only 1 point. We got a safety on last play.
And I think the biggest problem with Kirby, the big problem, the one I hate, is his lack and ability to get Georgia a quarterback. It took him how long to get Georgia a quarterback that could throw deep balls as consistent as JT does. JT throws about 5 of those a game. We never had those.
Jacob Eason had a good arm. It's just obviously Jake Fromm beat him off for the job and then he transferred.
Right.
I'll give you that. And Justin Fields had a good arm. It was a coaching decision at that. He had the quarterback. He just coaching decisioned out of it. You know what I'm saying? He had the quarterback. It's just he didn't play him.
And I'm not going to say and pretend like he didn't recruit Justin Fields as well. But obviously we saw how that turned out. His ability to manage quarterbacks has been lackluster to say the least. And it's the most important position in football. Okay, look at all the teams that just made the playoffs. They all had great quarterbacks. I mean, maybe besides Notre Dame, but let's not be too controversial.
Ian Book played good. He ain't no NFL quarterback, but he didn't play good in the Clemson game, I guess you could say, but he played good during the season. He was he was on like the Heisman hopeful list thing. Like they would bring him up at the bottom.
Okay. All right.
He played decent.
Whatever. We got Brock coming. Hopefully he pans out. But like my thing is that the thing that kills me with Kirby Smart that I see from other teams is there's never a beat. When's the last time Bama has honestly, maybe last year, that last year is as bad as it gets for Bama. 2 losses, missed the playoffs. That's as bad as it gets from Bama. And how many times have they missed the playoffs since it started? Once, twice? Yeah. So it's like, that's the level of dominance I need Kirby to be on. And it's not even,
he has the potential. He has the potential to do that.
Georgia has the potential. Georgia has, like, this season was wasted. And I told you that. This season was wasted.
This season was gone once Jamie Newman opted out.
Because I said, what did I say? You said, we made that JT Daniels video, the one that got like a lot of hate. You said you didn't think JT Daniels could lead us to a championship. I disagreed with that. I said, I feel like he can. I said, the thing that's holding us back right now is Kirby Smart. In the last video, we talked about Georgia. I said, I feel like Kirby has been moving backwards since we made it to the championship. I like Kirby Smart, but it's the offense that we need to get going. Defense.
There was another point. There's another point that I brought up. I'll get to it after you finish.
Defense doesn't win championships anymore. And I feel like Kirby is just now starting to realize that. And this season, Georgia had potential to be champions. I don't think people are realizing that. Georgia was a quarterback away from being, I'm talking, more dominant than Florida.
We
probably would still lost to Bama, don't get me wrong. But
if our offense played like we played with Mississippi State and on, we'd possibly be 11-1 team.
South Carolina, like, dude, it's crazy. Because if JT Daniels was playing against Bama, we weren't losing that game.
No. We
just simply weren't losing that game.
If he was put in the situation at halftime, we weren't losing that game.
No. And my thing is when Stetson Bennett was stinking up the place and he dropped just 14 points against Kentucky, there's no reason Kirby sat down with Todd Monken and said, let's send him out there against Florida. And even then, we got off to a 14-0 lead, but we didn't have the firepower to keep it going. And that, to me, that's when Kirby, I started to see, I'm like, will we actually win a championship with Kirby Smart?
This is my point.
And
You just brought up Tom Monken.
Right.
Todd Monken, I feel like he's been our best coaching hire with Kirby Smart.
It's been the best thing
100%.
Kirby has done. Let me not say that he's done. It's been the best hire thing he's brought in. He's shown that he recruited Brock Vandagriff. He had man's committed in like 3 days. This man got hired and got pulled a 5-star quarterback in 3 days. This is
my point. That's my point, my coworker. I said, Kirby Smart can't finish the job. That's correct. And I'm saying, but look at his coordinator since then. There's always a key point in those coordinators. You have Jim Chaney, right? Terrible. We did not like Jim Chaney. Nick Chubb and Sonny Michel carried that man, right? Mm-hmm. But on the other side, you have Mel Tucker, who's a head coach now, right? Possibly one of the best defense coordinators Georgia's ever seen in a long, long time. Okay? Then you step Mel Tucker out and you put Dan Lanning in, right? Dan Lanning's a great defense coordinator. He's not what Mel Tucker was, but he's a great defense coordinator. And you put in James Coley, who was a tight ends quarterback coach who said he was going to get the tight ends involved more. He did not do that.
Didn't do that. Couldn't even get Jake Fromm involved. Come on, bro.
It was horrible. James Coley was horrible. So now we finally got this offensive coordinator in here. Dan Lanning's still a great defense coordinator. I don't think he's as good as he was last year, but he's still a great defense coordinator. Mm-hmm. They both come out. We play Stetson Bennett. Or we play Dwan Mathis. Dwan Mathis steps on the field. Me and you wanted Dwan Mathis to play. We said he's the best fit for our offense without Jamie.
It felt like it was a new journey for the offense. It was a new wave.
He was another Jamie Newman. He was a scrambler. We felt like Georgia needed this guy that could, if he can't throw this ball, he can take off instead of throwing away or taking a sack. Jake Fromm, that man freshman year, he was breaking one tackle a run.
He was breaking tackles and ankles. Yeah.
Anyways, so they put Dwan Mathis out there. Everybody knows how that went. We put Stetson Bennett in, he starts cooking. The mailman. Everybody knows who the mailman is. He starts
because we went back to that traditional offense.
And then JT Daniels steps in. I feel like, be honest, I feel like Todd Monken got fully control of the offense when JT stepped in.
I knew Todd Monken, from week one, I knew Todd Monken was a threat. You could just see his play call abilities from week one.
I'm saying, it was Kirby Smart's decision to start Stetson. He always said that it was all the coaches saying Stetson was the best quarterback. Todd Monken didn't feel that way. I know Todd Monken didn't feel that way. Come on, man. We seen how JT's played.
And I know it brings that question. It's like, yo, but JT wasn't cleared. JT was cleared after Auburn.
JT was cleared week 2.
Yeah. So, and then that brought me back. I'm like, people are like, well, JT wasn't cleared to play. I'm like, dude, there's no reason. His first starting game should have been against Florida. You cannot let Stetson Bennett, a Florida team who was known at that point of the season to have a dominant offense.
Was cleared to play, it was like a week before the Natty? He was cleared to play the semifinal, wasn't he?
He was cleared to play. He barely played, but he was really on the field only for a distraction. He did catch
he was cleared to play. If we're
which was
talking
bad,
Jalen Waddle,
clearly wasn't 100%.
Jalen Waddle steps on the field, medically cleared to play, right? Mm-hmm. And you're saying that he obviously wasn't 100%. It's the player's choice at that point, right? You can't sit here and tell me where JT's going out on social media saying I'm ready whenever they're ready. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm ready to play football. He's medically cleared. He's like, I'm ready to play. You can't tell me he's saying, nah, not this week. Nah, not this week. Especially when we were getting our lead blown to Alabama. You can't tell me JT was sitting on the bench like, nah, I'm good. My Twitter picture, isn't it us versus Florida? Him sitting on the bench looking like he's about to cry because Stetson's stinking up the place?
Yep. That was the exact moment our season was pretty much over.
I'm not ready to play. You can't tell me JT sitting there saying I'm not ready.
It was that point our season pretty much just ended. This is that point right there. And you could see when he when we finally started JT Daniels. He's going to wait until we get smacked by Florida. Come on, Kirby. I like Kirby. Don't get me wrong. Recruiting,
Kirby,
he don't miss.
Great recruiter. He's a great coach. He is a great coach.
He's a great coach as well.
I kind of agree with my coworker. This Georgia job, I think it's his first head coach job. It was too big. It's too big of a job. Because you can't tell me if we brought in a guy like Steve Sarkisian, if Todd Monken was our head coach, you think we could do better? Be honest with me. I personally, don't.
I think we do.
I feel like the play calling's better, but I don't think
calling would be
anything else
definitely our offense would be way better, but overall as a team probably not. I think Kirby's the guy for us. He hires an offensive coordinator to handle it for a reason.
That proves my point. Is Kirby's a great coach, but I feel like this job was too big for him at the start. I mean, you say what you want to say. Y'all want to flame me in the comments.
Second season national championship. And I told you, I was like, yeah.
Dan Quinn situation.
Like in the last video we made about Georgia, I said, look, is Kirby moving this team backwards? I felt like I told you, I was like, look, I feel like this team's not moving in the right direction. Like we beat Cincinnati, and I know I'm like, hey man, look, let's take these next few days to celebrate, but then we got to just let reality sink in. Is this Georgia team?
We just celebrated beating Cincinnati.
We just celebrated beating Cincinnati by 3 points.
Honestly, look,
they're not even.
We
in the
didn't even beat them by
5.
3. We beat them by 1. We got a safety on last play. We beat them by 1 point.
We were celebrating beating a group of 5 team by 3 points. I don't care how good their defense is. That's just as a Georgia fan, I wanted to see some dominance in that team. And the only dominance I really saw was Jalen Carter, Azeez Ojulari. I don't even want to talk about our DBs next season. Because I'm like, a lot of people say, well, we got Kelly Ringo coming up. Dude.
We just lost our defensive back coach, didn't we?
Yes, but actually that's a good thing. That dude was not it. He got us the number 1 cornerback in the nation. He wasn't teaching them cornerbacks enough, dog. I don't know how Tyreek Stevenson managed to downgrade. I don't know how Tyson Campbell managed to not get better at football. I don't know. You got to think Eric Stokes was cooking before him. I don't know who our DB coach was before, but he was doing apparently good. Look at DeAndre Baker. This man, though, we brought him in. He just was not it, Chief. He was not it. It's great. Everybody's saying we might bring in Muschamp, however you say his name. Well, I'm like,
Will Muschamp?
Yeah, it's already rumored. It's rumored that we're supposed to be bringing him in.
If we bring him in, we gonna be eating. That's another head coach at a position. But hey, honestly, Kirby's a great
defense
coach.
Needs help.
It's more of even throwback to 2017.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me and you were like, bro, Kirby's the guy. Mark Richt, we always said it. Mark Richt was a good coach. You could tell that he was getting up there in age. I guess you could say he didn't yell at the players.
Mark Richt was never leading Georgia to the promised land. He never led them to the promised land.
He's a great recruiter, as you've seen in the 2017
year. He was a great recruiter, and it's crazy because it's like Kirby's even better. And obviously, Kirby's a better coach. I'm just gonna tell you that off the rip. Kirby's a better coach because he's made Georgia way more dominant than we used to be. Like I told you when we brought in Kirby Smart, I never expected this team to be as dominant as I never expected Georgia to make the playoff. But we made the playoff. We made the national championship.
You told me you were like someone told you where it was like it's really good to feel like a Georgia fan right now where it's Sugar Bowl or bust really. You know what I'm saying?
Where it's like playoffs or bust. Yeah.
It's like we're making it to the Sugar Bowl at least.
Yep.
And I mean, that's true. I mean, with Mark Richt, we was making it to the Gator Bowl.
Exactly. What was that? What's that bowl called where we played Nebraska? It was a
the
Capital One. No, it was like the Capital One.
You thinking of when we played Louisville? That was Capital. That was the Belt Bowl.
I don't think it was the Gator Bowl, bro. I'm telling you, it was the Capital One something.
Outback Bowl?
I don't know. I know for sure we played in it like two years straight though because we kept losing the SEC championship.
It was probably
yes, it was the Outback Bowl. Yep, 2 years straight we played in that.
We made it to the Outback Bowl. We made it to the Gator Bowl. We made it to the Belt Bowl. All those were under Mark Richt, man. Or no, hold on, one of them wasn't. Kirby took us to one. It was the Liberty Bowl, wasn't it? Against Penn State.
That was his first season. So it's like, dude, the first
Thank
6
God we
seasons?
didn't play Saquon Barkley, bro.
For the first 6 years. The crazy thing is like we've only not played a New Year's Bowl once, and that was his first season. And you expect that because it's like first season he's really just trying to test everything out, get the feel of everything. But I'm just telling you right now, man. Second season we go to the Natty, and I feel like this Georgia team has gotten better. We have the offensive players we have right now. I'm not gonna say it's better than that 2017 team because that 2017 team was insane, and we still somehow managed to not be the most dominant offense in the nation. That's the crazy thing about it. Imagine if we had Todd Monken with that offense.
That offense was going stupid, bro.
It's crazy.
That offense would have went stupid.
It's crazy.
Imagine if Isaiah McKenzie would have stayed one more year. Oh my goodness.
He's on the Bills. They trying to get to the Super Bowl. Them dogs in the NFL, man.
Good thing I'm out of the dog pound. Because I'm actually going to the playoffs now. Come on, man.
Dude.
Isaiah McKenzie, man.
Didn't the Bills make the playoffs for the first time. Like, was it last season the first time they made the playoffs in like a decade or something? Or no, like this year was the first year they won the playoffs.
It was a couple years before that.
Yeah,
this is the first year they won it since like 1999. Yeah, 99.
They were like last time they won a playoff game, Josh Allen wasn't even born. I'm like, Jesus, man, that's wild.
That's crazy.
That's the Tom Brady effect. Tom Brady.
Packers.
Tom Brady versus your Packers.
Go Pack, go. Come on now.
Tom Brady versus your Packers.
Look, you sent me that Lil Wayne thing, and I said last time he dropped a Green Bay anthem, we made it to the Super Bowl and won, man.
Yeah, y'all should win this.
And then you did the little like thing on Instagram, and it said the Packers was winning the Super Bowl, man. All the
dude,
signs
that
are
was
pointing.
wild, man. I'm telling you.
I'm at work, man. I pick up a box. You know where it was from? You know who it was made by? It was like packaged by Green Bay Packing in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm like, bro, we winning the Super Bowl, man.
The signs
Can't
are
tell
there.
Me we not. The signs are there. We winning the Super Bowl, man. We had some dynasty.
This man upset what dynasty?
Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, let's see if Patrick Mahomes is playing. But that's for what tomorrow's video. So
yeah,
we talked about Tennessee situation. Should colleges be able to play players? Texas and Steve Sarkisian. What's the status of Georgia, man? Let us know what you guys think in the comments. I know Texas fans are probably gonna be a little heated at what you were saying about their team, but
I told him. I said I ain't
Georgia
no
fans as well. I mean, we both kind of.
I
feel like
when
when we dropped that
agree.
when we dropped that JT Daniels video like a while back, and it got like a lot of hate. Well, you did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was like I feel like it was because people still had hope in Georgia, but I feel like at this point, at this moment right now, the hype has died. The hype is no longer as high anymore. Because I feel like that Cincinnati game, that was really just kind of like, do you see me laughing right now? Are you serious? Because that game really, like before that game, I was like, wait, we should blow them out. And then we won by 3.
We wanted that game. We wanted to prove everyone wrong.
Yep. It was so bad at first. I just turned it off. I really didn't come back until we were winning. Actually, that's how bad it was.
I watched the rest of the game. I watched from like the third quarter on at work on my phone, seeing the game-winning field goal. I was so hyped. I
was pumped. I'm like, hey, we got a kicker again. That's great.
3 hours later, I was like, I really just jumped in the air celebrating that we beat Cincinnati.
A group of 5 team.
It's not even that they're group of 5. Like, it's like no disrespect towards that. It's just more
no disrespect. It's
Cincinnati, bro. Like
it's not. It's just not.
This
team
is getting their recruits stolen by Ohio State.
Yeah, and it's like listen, my thing is when you're a Georgia fan, what you look at is, can this team beat Bama? And to be honest, I still don't know. I still don't have an answer for it. And until I have an answer for that, I just really won't be satisfied. That's how I look at Georgia.
I mean, next year, there's hope next year. They're losing Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle,
They're losing a lot. But they got that guy, Bryce Young. That's the thing about Nick Saban. That's another thing.
Bro, and then they got Trey Sanders lined up after Najee Harris, man.
God. Hey, Najee Harris going to be in black and yellow, baby. I bet you that. I know you're not over there. What? Come on, bro.
The Steelers not going to draft. Come on, since when has the Steelers ever drafted a player you wanted, man? Except for TJ Watt.
They're not gonna pass on Najee if he's there. There's just no way. There's no way.
Benny
I'm scared
Snell?
of the combine though. I hope his combine isn't too crazy, because you know how
they canceled it. They canceled it.
No, but there's still gonna be pro days. College is gonna do pro days.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm like, I hope he doesn't go too crazy, because I need his draft stock to stay at that point where the Steelers can grab him. Not many teams need wide receivers.
They really canceled the combine the day that we were planning to talk about combine during the off season. I went home from our workout and they jumped and said combine has been canceled. I was like, well, never mind. Anyways,
but once again, guys, yeah, because I started the outro and then we started talking about Georgia again. But yeah, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you're thinking. Also, man, make sure you guys are checking out that wide receivers ranking video. That the quarterbacks do numbers, but that wide receiver video is sitting at like 30 right now. So let's get those numbers up, man.
It has to do numbers now, man.
It has to do numbers now. Come on, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about the whole Tennessee situation. I know Texas fans are going to be in here, so let us know what you're thinking about what my man Cam said about Texas, and then Georgia fans. Just let us know what you're feeling about Georgia. These will probably be uploaded in different clips, so they probably won't get to this point because it'll probably be a different video.
Yeah.
But till next time, guys, been your boy Kid and Kam. We'll see you soon.
Peace.